Hello everybody, welcome back to Drawing the Weather. Today I'm going to be drawing a hazy landscape, basically taking another look at atmospheric perspective. If you haven't seen my first video on atmospheric perspective, I'll leave a link in the description. So today's drawing is loosely based on this photo I took on Mount Kearsarge in Warner, New Hampshire back on July 5th. As you can see, it was quite hazy that day. A typical hot, humid July day in New England. So in today's drawing, I'm going to try to recreate this effect, applying the principles of atmospheric perspective. Basically, atmospheric perspective is the effect the atmosphere has on the landscape. Objects that are further in the distance are more faded and blurry than objects that are nearby. This is caused by the air and water molecules and other particles that exist naturally in the atmosphere. The more moisture and/or particles in the atmosphere, the greater the effect. I'll be using the Faber-Castell 9000 graphite pencils, woodless graphite, various blending tools, and an eraser pencil. I begin the drawing by sharpening a woodless graphite pencil, 2B, over the top half of the paper. I then blend that in with a napkin. Once I finish blending, I begin to draw the landscape that's furthest in the distance. I use an HB pencil for this. I blend out the distant ridges with a blending stump and a Q-tip. Once I've established the distant landscape, I begin working on the clouds. I use the eraser pencil to create the clouds. I go in with a 2B pencil to add shadows, which I blend using a Q-tip. After that, I go in with an eraser pencil to redefine the highlights. I also make sure the clouds in the distance are more faded than the clouds that are closer. I do this by using little detail and using light pressure when adding the shadows and blending. After finishing the sky, I proceed with the landscape. Each ridge I gradually make darker as I work towards the foreground. The closer ridges are substantially darker to help reinforce the haziness beyond. Next, I begin working on the final layer, the foreground. From here on out is pretty straightforward in terms of finishing the landscape and adding final touches, so I'll see you at the end. There's the finished landscape. It only took me a little over an hour to create this drawing, and I think it turned out pretty good for the amount of time spent on it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a like, leave a comment, give me some feedback or ideas of what you'd like to see in future episodes, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Alright, so I'll see you next time.